This is the Sunday edition of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Tonight's episode was carefully selected by Marney.
Could be little, could be big. But going back out is not the answer.
Sit back, relax, or do whatever it is you do, and enjoy Marney's Sunday night replay.
It might be childish, sure, but that's kind of what drugs do, you know?
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
That was kind of a funny voice recording there. Yeah. You do kind of have a radio voice, don't you? Anyway, this is Dan calling. Talk to you when I talk to you. Later, bye.
I never talked to him again. I never talked to Dan, not one more again. It's the 5th of November, 2020. This is the 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield. In the studio, once again, co-host Marney Liston. Marney, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Just talking to somebody the other day, they're like, how come Marney doesn't have her name in the open? It's like, well, that's a long story. I don't really want to tell it either. So, but you will.
Yes.
You will. Hopefully very soon.
Right.
Maybe December 5th.
We're shooting for it.
Yeah. Praying about it. So hopefully that'll happen. Can't wait. And once, then we'll talk about it. But right now we can't really, and it's just no fun to talk about it either. So we're going to move on. I did get a call today from a woman with some good news, hopefully. And I don't know. I mean, I hope it went well. Sometimes when I get caught off guard and have to talk about things, I mean, I can do it, but I get flustered and there's so many things I want to mention. And to me, there's so many things that are important and it's just, that's how it sounds. I sound like Chris Goss back in the day. And I don't know. And then that's just like, oh, well. But she pointed out to me that my voicemail was full. And another friend of mine pointed out that the other day as well. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't understand because I deleted a bunch of them today. Well, if you have an Apple, if you have an iPhone, go to your voicemail. And I had like 140 of them. Scroll to the very bottom. Because after you delete them, then you got to delete them again. So there's a deleted and a blocked messages thing. So they got to empty those, which I did. But I didn't know like people that you block can still leave you voicemails.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Beckman left me 2 of them from May 25th.
Oh.
They're like 4 minutes long each. So one day I'll listen to those, but I was too busy. So I did, though, go through, I mean, and this was from 2-3 years ago I had voicemails that I haven't even listened to. It's kind of bad.
It's like blast from the past.
Yeah, sorry, Ed. See, Ed's only waited 3 months, and I still haven't called him back. But sorry, Ed. But, like, I don't know. It really was a blast from the past. And going through some of them, and I was going to play some of them on the show today, but then it's just like, I don't know. There's really kind of too many of them, sort of, but not really. Let me see. Let me see if I can, while we're recording, and see if I can edit the hotkey buttons. Let's see. Because there's one that I was like, oh, man, I should probably play that one. And, I mean, there was kind of like, there's a bunch of them that were kind of like that, really. But it brought me back to some places, and not really bad places, but just like, oh, my gosh, like that was so crazy. Like, I don't remember that. Or sometimes when I would remember. But here's a voicemail that I got, too.
Hello, this call is for Corey Winfield. This is Attorney Paul Jancha Jr. calling. I'm appointed to represent you on a case coming up in the Niles Trial Court set for December 18th at 1 o'clock. So please give me a call back. Thank you. Bye.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to jail that day for a week, and not even like a real, like, well, they say a jail week or whatever the term is. Like, you do 7 days, really do 6. No, I did all 7 because I got out on Christmas Eve.
Oh, man.
Of 2018. And
so you had good reason not to get that voicemail.
Well,
I mean, not till years later, but I mean, I'm just talking about that current day. If you were currently otherwise engaged,
yeah, I don't
with
know
the
what
legal
I was doing
system
that day, because I don't know when he called and when that was. Well, actually, I do because it's in my phone, unless I deleted it. But yeah, I don't know if that's because I had so I went to jail, and then I got out, and then I drank, and it's a really bad relapse. And then, my first day sober was the 15th. Mm-hmm. It was my sober day. I was in the hospital. It sucked. And the cops had taken me there, and they were going to take me to jail. And then the doctor was like, are you going to wait all night and with them handcuffed to the bed? Because it's going to take a while for that alcohol to get out of the system. He's like a 0.4 whatever, or 0.548 or 3 or whatever. So the cop's like, oh, my God, I've never seen anybody so drunk before.
Goodness
and she's
gracious.
just looking at me like, how are you even talking? And I'm like, what do you mean?
And these are not things to brag about, people. This is just sad.
Yeah, no, it was hell, man. Like, I was hurting for sure. And, just being handcuffed to the bed, and the doctor telling him that. And she's like, well, he's got court coming up, so he can deal with that then. We'll deal with him then, which they did. Judge Lasada was like, all right, well, I'll give you 7 days. Damn it. But like I said, it was out right before Christmas Eve, and they slapped a alcohol tether bracelet thing on me, and until I could come back for sentencing or something else. I don't remember exactly. Mm-hmm. But I had to go back again, and that's when I got it off, and then did the probation. I think that was January 7th, I think, or 8th, and that's when I went up to the treatment center in northern Michigan, and was like, oh. So yeah, but it was crazy. But stuff like that, really just like, oh my gosh. And I had a couple of messages from my cousin Melody, who. Well, I guess since we realized I can play them, let's just play them. But Melody, we've been kind of close, since we were kids. She's just, I think, a year younger than I am. So, we're always kind of close in age. So, we would always raise hell together and do stuff like that. And when she could tell I was having a hard time, she would reach out to me. And here's one from her.
Hey, Corey. I was just calling to check on you. It's Melody. All right, love you. Bye.
It's just stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, like what did I put, cousins through? And sometimes, when's the last time that I thought about my cousin Melody, and when she was looking after me and checking in on me and taking me to the hospital? It's been a long time since I thought about that, and I think about the people that, my immediate family that I hurt, like my mother and stepfather and stuff like that. But it's hard to kind of put everybody you hurt in your brain 24/7. So, it's kind of a really good reminder, that I can look back and just go, oh, yeah, she was kind of dragged into it as well. But not all of them were really that bad, though. Here's one that I'll play it, and I bleeped this guy's name out. I don't know why. If someone calls me and leaves a voicemail, then that voicemail is now property of me. But here's what he called. And this was like, not summer 2020, but this was like probably, I think it was May or June of 2019.
Hey, Corey, this is... I met you at the Guiding Light way back when you were hanging around there last year. I'm kind of in a predicament looking for a place to stay. You can reach me at this number in Grand Rapids. Thank you, Corey.
And that guy I still talk to. I think that dude's a trip. And we had started the podcast. And, yeah, I was at Guiding Light in Grand Rapids. I was going to go do their little program, and it just wasn't for me. But I met Marcel. See, Guiding Light in Grand Rapids had a back-to-work program. And if people were homeless, they could go there, and they would give, I don't remember exactly, like 70 or 80% of their paycheck to the Guiding Light. And they would just hold it. Mm-hmm. You could stay there for 90 days. And at the end of the 90 days, they go, boom, here's all your money back. Mm-hmm. So, you leave with some good chunk of change. But, a lot of homeless people up there, well, when you go back to, or when you go, at least at this time, when I went there, when you go to their rehab program, it's like in the back of this building. But to prove that you want it, they make you like sit up front and like clean up after the back to work program guys. And it's not fun. The chairs aren't comfortable. It's just, there's nothing to do. You can't leave. and you can't go to sleep. You have to be out doing something like reading the big book, or I don't know. It was kind of like a lot of downtime and boring. But I met Marcel. He was doing the Back to Work program, or met that guy, whoever it was, and he was doing the Back to Work program. And I really liked him, man. And we kind of hit it off. And this other guy, Rick, was there too. And Rick, we became friends on Facebook too after I left. And he noticed that 217 Recovery, it started and what we were doing with the podcast. And, he reached out to me and was like, hey, man, we listen to your podcast. I think it's great. And, our buddy here is kind of having a hard time and he needs some help, and is there anything that, you can recommend? And then he ended up coming to stay at the sober living house that I did at Nathan's house in Boyne City. So it was crazy. And the first dinner we had at the house, because you have like house meetings once a week, you're aware of those, but we would make dinner for each other. And he was in there and I just was sitting there thinking, wow. And that was kind of when I was really putting the whole everything happens for a reason thing together. And it's like, if I didn't go there, maybe me going there had nothing to do with me. I mean, yeah, sure, I learned some things from there, but maybe it was to meet him.
Absolutely.
Maybe God had that in his plan to meet me and Rick, the guy that was the middleman here with getting him up in northern Michigan. And last time I knew, Marcel was doing great, and he's a funny guy. He really is, and I like him a lot. So, voicemails like that would pop up through there, and then I saw ones that I missed, which, I mean, this is crazy, but I've always wanted to live in northern Michigan. And I grew up in southern Michigan, southwest Michigan, in Coloma, near Benton Harbor. And I don't know why. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Arkansas. And I came back home to Michigan. But I still, I always wanted to live up here. And when I kind of was very unsure of what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to help people, because that's kind of what we all do in early recovery. But I really wanted to. And I felt good, and it's natural. We feel good. It's just a fact. When you help other people, you feel good.
Right.
You create the dopamine in your brain, the serotonin or whatever, and you feel good. That's a fact. So, but I didn't know if I want to sit in the room and listen to people all day. I didn't know. So I thought about, maybe I can still do radio. Now, the thing about radio, if I did radio, I'd have to move. And where would I move to? I'd been in radio for 20 years. I knew where I didn't want to go. I'd been to a big market, worked in Dallas. I didn't really want to do that again. It just was, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be awesome. And it was, no, still a little room and I'm in it and talking, and you get paid more, but it costs living's more. And it's just concerts are a little closer. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought it would be. And so I don't want to do that, but I don't want to live in a very small either. And I don't know. I just started thinking okay, where are some places? And I had a list of 3 or 4 cities, but Traverse City in northern Michigan in general, that was one area that, yeah, I would go work in radio again. So I started sending my demo out to the radio stations in Petoskey and Traverse City. And I talked to a guy, I think it was Black Diamond at the time, which would have been late September, early October 2018. And then my OWI and all the legal problems, that happened at the end of this month, end of November. So, I mean, that's kind of how close it was. And, I found some voicemails from that, and some that I didn't listen to. I had one from some guy from New York. And he's like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I've sent you a few emails. I haven't seen any reply. I was just wondering, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, good Lord, what was I doing? And then another one, it was Petoskey. And I'm like, who did I know there? And I hit it, and it was the owner of Garber Broadcasting in Petoskey. Apparently, I sent her my demo, and she was like, hey, I really want to talk to you. Blah, blah, blah. But I never even got it. I don't know if I was on a bender. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Right.
But I had never played the voicemail. So it's kind of like, and then it's just crazy because the people that I did talk to about the station here in Traverse City had a morning show, a guy that was so bad. I was like, I'm not going to work with that dude. They're like, well, we really need you to kind of reel him in, make him good. I'm like, you can't polish a turd, like that's going to be more stress for me. That's something I don't need. And had a huge ego, still probably do a little bit, but like, I didn't want to work with that guy. And so it didn't work out. And that guy probably didn't want to work with me either. But I just was like, ugh. But it's funny how, like, boom, then it took what it took to have me finally move up to northern Michigan and to be where I'm at today.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. It's insane when you think about it, but yeah.
The whole everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And also what you were saying, people crossing your paths. I mean, everyone influences you, even like strangers, throughout the day in ways that you don't even know. And it's kind of crazy to think, the butterfly effect, what have you.
Yeah, I guess. The lady at Michael's today, we were shopping for Christmas ornaments. We're going to make some. Mm-hmm. And I had my mask on, but apparently it had like slipped under my nose.
They don't like that.
She's like, well, I'll help you as long as you put that thing over your nose. I was like, oh. And I wanted to explain to her, do you know how COVID works? It doesn't come out your nose. It comes out your mouth. But maybe she was like making sure that I was safe from it. Right. If she had it, but she had her mask. I don't know. I wanted to say that and I didn't. So you're right. She affected me in a positive way because it taught me that sometimes you just need to shut your mouth and go about your day. Mm-hmm. Just because she snapped at me about put that over your nose and doesn't mean I have to react back in her same way, Right. Maybe she's having a bad day.
Yeah.
Maybe she found out her husband cheated on her.
Maybe she was just worried about getting COVID and she's just uninformed.
Maybe she hates white people. I don't know. I mean, she was white too, but I don't know. Who knows what she was going through? That's my point.
Right.
So that's just my point.
Man.
Thank you, Tyrone. Appreciate it. Oh, so there's something else I want to talk about, but I don't remember. So I'll let you talk about it, I guess, or talk about.
Well, we got our Christmas tree today. Mm-hmm. That was exciting. Might be jumping the gun a little bit, but it's still in the box, so I feel pretty okay. We'll see how long it sits in there. Yeah, so that was exciting. Had a day off today, which was fantastic. Nice and relaxing. And yeah, so got in touch with my mom. She's, all on the edge of her seat about the election.
Oh, yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah. Oops, you forgot about that?
I did.
Who's going to just be in charge of our country for the next,
All right, so your mom texted you about that or called you?
Well, she's no, it's because she's like super informed about all that, where things are at, and I don't have the patience to actually tune in to anything like that and pay attention. I'm just like, just let me know. Because I did my part. I voted, so why don't you just, when that all gets sorted out, just let me know. I'll be curious to find out. Because it is what it is, Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at it.
Nothing we can do about it. Mm-hmm. It cracks me up, though. Some of the stuff that people are saying on there, and it's like, oh, come on. And my brother, he's going bananas, and I don't know. I think he deleted his Facebook even. Teach us. So I'm looking at what day most Americans put up their Christmas tree.
Oh.
But,
well, we don't have to do what everybody else does.
That's what I'm saying. We don't really care.
Shoot.
It was just for other people that are listening because they were probably like, I wonder what day people do put up there.
Day after... I don't know.
The second Saturday of November, blah, blah, blah. Day after Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. First week of December, brr, brr, brr. Well, I think November 5th is a great day to put up the Christmas tree.
Okay.
So that'll be good.
Okay.
I got pulled over by the popo.
Yes, you did.
because I was with a coworker friend, and I was with another friend, George. He was on the podcast not long ago, and Tony, and they were just like, "Oh my God!" Like, I've never seen anybody so calm, cool, collected when they're getting pulled over. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, what was I supposed to do? You know, and they're like, no, like, man, it was like we got to do a podcast about that. And I was like, I don't know, man, like, for real. And then, so I got the ticket, and I'm like, well, let's go deal with it. Let's go see what the damage is. So I take it to the courthouse there, or whatever you want to call it, in Charlevoix, Michigan. And I go up, and the ladies, I don't know, again, with the, who knows if the relationship's bad at home. I'm not sure, but she had, I mean, maybe she had like an infection or something that was causing problems. I don't know. Again, we don't know.
Right.
But she was rude as hell.
Maybe she just doesn't care for her job. That's another thing too.
But why take it out on me? Why come up to the little counter with attitude with me?
Because you were there.
I just got there. She wasn't ruining my day.
Right.
Neither was Officer Kiddo. That's what, I don't know, he was a younger guy. Oh. But he wasn't going to ruin my day, you know. Could I have let him ruin it? Absolutely. But I didn't. So I asked the lady, I was like, so I got this today, so what, you know, she's like, well, you can, and I don't even have it in my system yet. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, what kind of system you guys running here? You know, like, what kind of, it doesn't just shoot automatically to you? Like, it's pretty janky. Mm-hmm. Get our governor on that, maybe take care of it. Come on, Whitmer, whatever.
Here you are trying to be responsible 10 minutes after you got your ticket.
Take care of this. Let's deal with this today. Come on, let's go.
Right.
And she's like, well, and then she's like, well, I'll tell you, how much was it for? And I was like, well, I was going, he said he had me clocked at 71 and a 55. And I don't know. And this was kind of weird too, because he's like, he started playing games. I wasn't really about trying to play games. I love playing games, but I wasn't trying to like play his game. And he was like, all right, now let's play a game, you know? And I'm like, do you really want to play the game with me? And he's like, how fast do you think you were going? Man, I have no idea. I was like, we were talking, and he's like, well, I saw that you passed that lady. I'm like, yeah, I was passing somebody. That's right. You know, I remember that now. And he's like, now, if you're honest with me, I'm more apt to just give you a warning. And if I think you're lying, then I'm going to get you with the maximum. I'm like, well, this isn't a very fun game. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, most people, when they see cops whip around, they look down and see how fast they were going. I was like, oh, well, I mean, it looked like it was like creeping under 70, you know, like maybe 65-ish, but I don't know what you clocked me at, man. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. When did you clock me? You know, were you speeding, officer? Because that's illegal. Officers cannot speed unless they got their lights on. They are not to speed. Then go to jail, prison. Maybe not that, but that should be looked into more. Whitmer, let's get on that. Let's put a governor in those vehicles. There shouldn't be high-speed chases anyway. Or if there are, they should be specialty vehicles, not Officer Kiddo. Just saying. So then he asked me if I have my insurance with me, which in the state of Michigan, the state police I know have sensors that just scan, and when they get behind you, they know if you have insurance. If it doesn't, it like pops up, from what I've been told by people on the inside. Mm-hmm. So. Like, here we are playing games again, right? And like, no, I don't have my insurance on me. I was like, I got the app on my phone. You want to look at that? So I whip that out, give it to him. He's like, what about your registration? I'm like, isn't that what the license plate's for? I was like, I don't know. What do you mean, like registration? Like, I don't know. I get the sticker, I put it on there, I pay you people money, and I throw it away. You know, like what else is supposed to? What am I supposed to keep in the car? Like, I don't get it. And
I've always kept those in the glove box.
Oh, well, apparently I did not, because George started going through the glove box like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know, man. And then I whip out my wallet. I'm like, you know, maybe it's in here. And so I'm going through my wallet. I'm like, yes. He's like, you find it? And I was like, no, I found a pizza coupon.
Oh, my God.
George was just like, oh, my God. But I mean, I was excited because I'm like, look, man, we got free pizza today. Like, this is awesome, because we were just talking about where we're going to go eat. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It just all worked out. And I don't know. It was just one of those things, but it was funny. As Tony was in the back, he's like, I didn't even realize what was going on. Like, it was so calm and cool. Like, you were the calmest MFer I know, is what Tony said. Yeah,
nobody likes getting pulled over. I mean,
you know, what was I going to do? You know, and George was kind of like, yeah, you know, like, what are you going to do? You know, like, you didn't do anything wrong. There's no drugs in the car. And then we started like making like kind of jokes, and like we should have been like, oh man, yeah, we're playing the honest game. Oh well, don't look in the trunk, you know. And I'm like, oh, that could have been hours of us sitting out there. But
yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing that.
No, I mean we were cool with the cop, or whatever, but it was just kind of like, why are you playing the game, man? And he comes back and gives me a ticket anyway.
So he thought he didn't think you were being honest then, obviously, because his instructions were, if you told him the truth, he was just going to give you a warning.
Right, which he gave me a warning for the registration. I'm like, whatever, dude. And I don't even, how do you even get another one of those? Like, that's stupid. That's a waste of time for people to even mail that to me or whatever I have to do. I think it's whatever. Because like I said, everything, he has everything. And then he tried being a little smart ass with it too, about when he came back to the car. And I'm like, again, with the registration, because I'll give you a warning for that. I'm like, again, you know, like, license plate should tell you at all. He's like, well, there's other information on there that we don't have. And well, again, Whitmer, can you correct your police people, please? Michigan State Police, can you go to them and say, why don't you guys have equipment that works? When you write somebody a ticket, I could order a pizza and it'll be here in 20 minutes. And you're telling me that somebody's writing me a ticket? Yeah. And then we'll get it till tomorrow with their janky-ass system? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But I think what he was trying to say that I was probably lying about is because he asked me, have you ever been pulled over for whatever traffic? And I'm like, no. He's like, when was the last time? I'm like, I don't know, man. I was given a warning like 10 years ago. I was in town when I lived in Arkansas. I came back and I was going to Kalamazoo or something, and a cop pulled me over and gave me a warning, you know, and I was like, cool, thanks a lot, man. And they came back, and then it wasn't until I was driving away, and I'm like, oh, the OWI.
You thought he was only referring to a speeding ticket?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't remember driving. Apparently I did. But when I was taken to jail, like, it wasn't like I was pulled over on the side of the road. I was at my apartment complex. I was sitting there waiting for the cops to show up. Like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, you know? And so it was a way, it wasn't like I got pulled over and was doing something.
That still would have been kind of fresh in my head to bring up to the police when they're asking you last time.
Yeah, well, no, like, because...
Well, they obviously are looking at your driver record.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure that was on there, and he's like, oh, that dude's lying to me. And I bet that's what he was thinking that I lied to him about, but it wasn't. And I don't know.
Details. I
know. So, with that fresh in my head, I told the lady, well, I'm going to go ahead and fight that ticket, girl. And then she, like, rolled her eyes at me, and I'm like, what?
Of course you did.
And because I was like, first, I'm like, look. I was like, see how he marked on there that I have an operator's license? I don't. I have a chauffeur's license. So if he's messing that up, how do I know he can read a radar gun? And Tony and George, and then the guy who let us in the courthouse is dying out there. They started laughing, and again, the lady didn't find it funny, but true. He can't read my license right. He can read a radar detector, you know, like I don't know. There's a lot of things going on here. Plus, I did tell him the truth. From what I looked down, it was like, you know, I mean, I don't know. I was passing a lady. She had been driving, and you'd have been proud of me because I didn't pass her when I could have, because it was passing. It was like, it turns into 2 lanes. Mm-hmm. So you can like kind of vroom, and then you get like a mile to pass them. And I could have passed her before. She was ridiculously slow, swerving. That's why I didn't pass her, because I'm like, man, I think she's texting and driving. So I'm like, let me just play it safe, kick back here in a minute. And the passing lane's coming up. I'll just get around her. And I really didn't want to waste a lot of time passing her when she's going 54 and I'm going 55. We got a mile to get this done. And she's over here texting, swerving lanes. Wasn't really a big fan of that. So, you know, I just kind of want to explain myself there and then explain to him, like, oh, yeah, sorry. This is where what was happening. And, you know, it didn't occur to me that, I got pulled over, but I didn't want you to think I was lying to you. Mm-hmm. And... you know, we're going to an AA meeting, and we were talking about some very important stuff at the time as well. And I wasn't driving reckless, you know, and just going to state my case. But yeah, it's like a lot of people don't realize that if you I guess it's technically called denying responsibility. Not really fighting it. It's denying responsibility. Sure. But there's nothing extra. It doesn't cost you extra. Like if I go there and they're just like, who cares? Give me the 125. Yeah. Give them the 125. Some people are like, yeah, but you wasted a whole day.
Yeah, you would do it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
And George and Tony want to come with me.
I bet.
I was like, yeah.
Goodness.
They're like, yeah, we'll take it off work. I was like, all right. That'd be fun. But yeah, so really there's nothing for me to lose and, show up.
Isn't it nice not having to worry about like when a cop does pull you over, if that does happen, that like calmness that you never had back when you were, if you were drinking. But you didn't really drink and drive.
No. So it wasn't like, that wasn't my, so I mean, I was just going to say like, I drove around with some pot every once in a while, but like,
yeah,
I made sure there was nothing else in the car and there was no reason for them to search my car and I had my ID on me, you got to have all those things. And now, I don't know, I guess, if I was really worried about, the cop's going to do this, I'd be like, well, make sure I have my registration, make sure I have my, insurance card with me. And, maybe I should, I don't know. But I like I said, I have nothing to hide, so it doesn't really matter.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
it's all on the plate. It's all in their system anyway, man. Playing games with me,
hating on the
Officer
police.
Kiddo. But yeah, for some people though, like George, it was like, and Tony is kind of freaking out too, and it's just one of those things that until it happens to you, you don't really process it. So I mean, again, maybe that happened to me for a reason. Maybe George might get pulled over and he can look back at that and go, wait, don't freak out, man. Like just calm down. Like what am I acting nervous for? There's nothing to be nervous about. I'm a new person. I'm in recovery and nothing legal in the car. And
right, yeah.
Let's put a smile on. And you don't know what kind of day the officer's having. Maybe he found out his wife's cheating on him.
Jeez,
maybe he hates white people. You don't know what kind of day they're having. So put on the smile.
What about the nice people? Are you like, you don't know what kind of day they're having? Maybe they just got great news. Maybe they just got today's their first day with the promotion of their job.
Yeah.
Maybe their kid just won their soccer game.
And they missed it because they were driving around pulling people over.
I don't know.
And that's what sucks about state cops, too. They have a quota. They do. And some people are like, no, cops don't have. Yeah, state cops do.
Yeah.
In Michigan. I'm pretty sure like the county people and cities, they don't do that. But I know the state cops do. So a lot of people think, well, it's the end of the month. They're trying to hurry up and get their quota in. Oh, they try to get those actually at the beginning of the month. That's what I've been told. Because then they can just kick back and it'd be normal people. And that's got to suck too when you have to get so many tickets. So many speeding tickets. And, a lot of their funding and stuff is based on people paying them money for going a little bit faster than they should have. And that speed limit was made back in probably 65, maybe 1970. If I'd have had a 1982 Ford F-150, I'm sure it would have been rattling like hell going 71. And that's probably why they put the speed limit 55. So, maybe I write a letter and we get that solved too. But, cars and roads have changed over the past 20, 30, 50 years. So, that's how they determine the speed of the road is, well, let's see the grade of the road. Let's see the safety. And, it's not the same. And the cars are so much safer than they were,
yeah,
when that road was paved last.
It is. And the newer cars, you don't even realize
I don't even feel like
fast
you're going 70.
you're going. And like the hybrids, you don't even know what's running. Stop. It's crazy. Moral of the story is just be a law-abiding citizen and be a safe driver.
And know that you can fight or deny responsibility of tickets. And there's no reason to be mad at the cop. Like I said, he's doing his job. That dude's just doing his job.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't get that lady for texting and driving. I think that's probably more expensive ticket. No, it's probably a lot more dangerous too.
Right.
No, I'm not. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Facetious is that what I'm being?
Facetious.
Yeah, that's what I'm being, I think.
That's being sarcastic with meanness.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing right there, man. Oh, God. So, election, you talked about that a minute. I did have the perfect solution, which is put a Republican and Democrat in office together, make them work it out.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's Corey's solution to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And some people are
Just
like,
have them
yeah,
both be president.
But Trump would just storm out of there and Biden wouldn't listen. Well, then they aren't the people we need to put in there then.
You just need to find two co-presidents, not them.
Yeah.
Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then quit all this BS of, well, Republicans, Democrats. How about we just do some common sense stuff? Oh, because that's simple and that makes sense. So we wouldn't do that. Well, they're going to do this. No, they're going to figure it out. You know what? They got to share that office. They're going to become friends. They're going to figure out how to work together. If a grown-ass man or woman can't work together with another grown-ass man or woman to do the best for this country, then they shouldn't be in that job.
Right.
You know, we need to find people that
That's
are
a good point,
there.
actually.
And, you know, not a big fan of Trump, not a big fan of Biden. So for me, whatever. You know, that's why I'm not really taking it personal. I'm not on either side. But one thing that Biden did do that kind of was like, you know, it was like day after election, he's like, Trump is racist and Trump's this, Trump's that. I'm like, dude, stop, man. Why are you being Trump? You know, all the stuff that you say that Trump does that we should hate Trump for, you are now doing. So stop it. Shut up. I'm done. I'm tired. Just listen to me. Mm-hmm. Put a Republican and Democrat in the office. Close the door. Figure it out. Let's go.
I don't know, but
they would poop their pants. They would be like,
The
oh my
world?
God, like we have to do this together, but aren't the oil companies paying you? And I'm like, yeah, but aren't the beach patrols paying you or whatever? I don't know.
It's an idea.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to make the oil companies like have to follow restrictions, then we're going to have to make these guys follow restrictions and then these guys follow restrictions. And yeah, but that's going to cost me a lot of money in my campaign. Yeah, well, I mean, you're kind of getting money to do this job, so.
Yeah.
Well, Corey for president. Oh, you know, it'd be
That's
funny.
my idea, too.
Because I'm kind of like, I'm not Republican or Democrat, so I don't even know what the hell I am. Put me in there, too. Yeah.
I'll see who comes out alive.
Yeah, torture therapy. I would just be in there just poking them all day with a stick. And Tyrone. Tyrone's great at torture therapy, too. Tyrone, he'll find that what just irks you, and he just keeps grinding it. It's awesome when it's not happening to you.
Right, of course.
That'd be so funny. God, that would be a great TV show. It really would. But I guess that's kind of it. Recovery-wise, yeah, pretty good little day, and don't stress out about getting tickets and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. Don't stress out about the election.
No, don't stress out about that. And if it's bothering you, do like my brother. Delete your Facebook. You know, just delete it. Get rid of your Twitter, all that. You know, just keep the 217 Recovery app on your phone. And I don't think we've had anybody donate $1 million yet.
Nope, not yet.
But you still can. Autographed picture of Nico and a sweatshirt. 217 sweatshirt. We'll throw that in. First person that donates $1 million. Donation button is at 217recovery.com. And on the real, though, the Spreaker, you know, how we record the show, that does cost money. And that is coming up due again, which we're going to figure out if we're going to keep Spreaker, if we're going to go with a different, I guess, provider, service, whatever. But that does cost money. So if you, for real, do want to, you know, pitch in a couple bucks, if you're like, man, I really love this podcast, I don't want it to ever go away. You know, if you can kick in a few bucks, you know, that'd help us out for sure. Help me out.
Yeah.
I'm not rich. I got to pay the stupid ticket probably. But yeah, appreciate it though. 217recovery.com is our website. Of course, the app, you can get that anywhere. You know, the iTunes store, the App Store, Google Play Store. I had a person say the other day when I asked her, I was like, do you have the app? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I love it. She's like, it makes it so much easier. It's so much more convenient.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
and it's pretty. I mean, it looks cool. Not pretty.
So?
Yeah.
Thanks.
You did a good job.
Thanks. I tried. It's pretty good. I know. I like it. But yeah, check it out. Download. It's free. Appreciate your support, though, for real. And we will talk to you again on Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll have a Christmas tree up. We'll talk all about that.
All right. See you Saturday.
Can't wait. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app.